Hi, this is James Gordon of October Library here with a book review. I'm sorry this book review took a little longer than expected. I've been busy doing things and yeah, just been busy doing things and reading this book as I'm trying to read more in the daytime as I'm finding it during night, which I've been reading this book I've been reading at night. I have gone through it, but I find that during the day I just read a lot better during the night. So for May, I'm going to try to fix my reading method and get back on track like I was before. Alright, now that that's out of the way, today's book review Ubik by Phil K. Dick. Alright. This was first published in 1969. This edition is from uh, Mainler Books, and this is from 2012, this edition. This was a reread. When I finally got this book and I read it, I really liked it at the time, but after reading this book a second time, I was kind of let down by it. While Ubik has some really good ideas and a lot of interesting like concepts and the one character I liked in this book, Joe Chip, that was the only character I liked, and but despite all that, this book, I just felt this is one of Phil's kind of like weaker stories. I was really disappointed when I got to towards the end of this book. I was left scratching my head, just with so many unanswered questions and so many things unexplained, and just kind of bored too. Like I was the book gets off to a really good start, but towards the middle and last part of Ubik, it just gets really slow and boring, and nothing really much happens. So I feel like so much opportunity was missed with this book. Like it had so much like I feel his ideas are really interesting in this book, but he fails to go anywhere with them or expand on them and take this book further with it. So yeah, sadly this was a huge letdown. While I like the ideas, I just like I said, I feel like this is one of Phil's weaker stories, not one of his best, but it was it was all right, but it could have been so much better. All right, on to the review. Plot. Set in the alternate future of 1992, Joe Chip, a technician working for Rediker Associates, a produce organization. Joe tests people with PSI powers who can move, read minds, or even alter reality. By using psychics, Rediker Associates enforces privacy of clients to keep information from being stolen from rival companies and tracking down PSI spies. Despite being a highly skilled agent, Joe owes a lot of debt and is forced to pay coins to open his door, get something from the refrigerator, or even take a shower. At one point, Joe attempts to remove the coin slot from his door, but is threatened to sue him if he removes it. His friend and business partner, Gigi Ashwood, brings over Pat, a 19-year-old girl who has the strongest PSI level he has ever seen and wants Joe to test her abilities to see if they are worthy for Rediker Associates. But Gigi has to pay Joe's door in order to get in since he doesn't have any dimes left. Pat explains she has the ability to alter the past by simply thinking about it. Gigi wants Joe to hire her as she'll be perfect, but Joe wants to test her powers first. However, Pat gives her test sheet, and to help him pay off his debt, Joe accepts her offer. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, Glenn Rediker, head of his company, along with his deceased wife Ellen, who can predict future events, is being stored inside a cryogenic suspension known as Half-Life. His company is losing business and believes it is a threat from a rival corporation. Rediker tries asking Ellen for answers. Her conscience is being invaded by another Half-Lifer, Joey Miller. Rediker orders his wife to be moved in order to communicate with her, but is told the entity of Joey is very difficult to remove. When Rediker returns to his head office in New York, Mrs. Zoe Wirt, a associate for business magnate Stanton Mick, hires Rediker to secure his lunar base on the moon from rival corporation owner Hollis. Rediker believes he's found where Ray Hollis is hiding his PSI units, but is unsure if this is a real job or a trap, but knows he has no choice and accepts the contract with Joe Green to lead the team of 11 of their best agents, with Rediker joining them. When they reach the lunar base, Mrs. Rigg gives them a tour while Joe is testing out his gear for any PSI readings but isn't getting any. The rest of the team becomes suspicious at the base feels deserted. When Stanton Mick appears, his voice sounds robotic and is acting strange. Suddenly his body floats to the ceiling along with body parts exposed and revealing it's a bomb as this was a trap. When the bomb explodes, Redeker is badly injured while half the team has disappeared as everyone else appears to be unharmed in the blast radius. Pat is unable to use her powers as too much time has gone by. Fearing more agents of Hollis will finish them off, Joe takes the remaining team members back to the ship and put Redeker in half-life with hope they can save their boss's life. They fly to Zurich to beloved Beverin Mortality, where Redeker's wife is being looked after. However, during the flight to Zurich at the spaceport, Joe and the others begin to notice strange things happening. First, their coins, cigarettes, and other items they own are getting older, along with records being altered. Joe is unable to make a phone call at the spaceport as the video phone rejects his money, stating it's too old. However, he is able to trade his old coin with some current money from another person. Joe manages to call up Ray Hollis, warning him he won't get away with this, but dismisses his warning as Joe hangs up. The next day, Joe tries getting a hold of people at the hotel room, but all he gets is strange messages from Redeker. When Herbert shows, he states that Redeker is too badly damaged to be saved and must be kept in half-life stasis. Joe explains the unusual things happening around him. When he tries to show Herbert his broken phone, all he hears is static. Herbert tells Joe that he'll have a ship to take them back to New York with his team, but Joe is questioning if one of the team members is a traitor and secretly working for Hollis. The next day, Joe goes over his finds with the team and notices more changes in reality. All the coins and dollar bills have face of Redeker on them. Postage stamps have his face. On video phones, Redeker appears, yet if anyone tries to listen, they only hear static, and more objects are becoming older. But their problems are only getting worse as Wendy has aged to death as only her clothes were found inside of Joe's hotel room closet. He plans to take the team to Baltimore and find other items and see if they change or get older while trying to figure out what's going on. When they reach Baltimore, all the items either have an image or named after Redeker. The team also finds graffiti messages written by Redeker. While in a hotel room, Joe and Al are talking over what to do next and theorize if Redeker really died in that explosion or has all the team members been killed and they're the ones in half-life. Suddenly, Al begins to feel cold and ill. He goes into the bathroom and feels sick. When Al tries splashing water on himself, his skin turns gray and becomes older, then vanishes into thin air. Joe returns to the others and explains what happened to Al as they realize they are running out of time and must find answers quickly before they disappear next. Checking the news, it shows a funeral being held in Des Moines, Iowa. The hometown of Redeker and his rival Hollis will also be there. Then a commercial comes on for a product called Ubik, explaining it can solve any problem you have. Redeker then appears on TV and tells them they must get Ubik to get back into reality. Joe and the others travel to Des Moines when the world suddenly changes again as they go back into 1939. Joe is still questioning who is really dead and begins to suspect one of his team members isn't who they really are. Only Redeker knows the answer. Ubik is a strange, surreal, dreamlike mystery mixed science fiction odyssey. While this story has many interesting ideas, however, I felt the story wasn't that good nor had anything else to offer in it. There are times I felt bored wanting the characters to be doing something and they hardly do anything, just standing around talking a lot and going to one place to another trying to find this Ubik product only to find their money to keep changing and getting rejected. I felt some of the characters weren't fleshed out well with only the main focus on Joe Chip. Most of the characters you come to know are only in the novel for a few moments or reappear in very few scenes. But what I disliked the most with Ubik was its plot. I seriously felt so much more could have been done with to make it a better story as towards the middle and end of Ubik begins to get boring with nothing happening and the plot going nowhere or offering anything else to make it interesting. Also, Phil fails to explain many things during the course of Ubik, such as the coin slot machines that are placed throughout the world, as he never touches on why these coin slot machines are being placed in homes and hotels, forcing people to pay in order to access stuff they shouldn't have to pay for, and who's placing them there. Hollis, the rival company of Redeker, and what his goal was, and why didn't Redeker press Herbert further on Joey, and where does Ubik come from? It's neither from Redeker or any other company, and yet Redeker knows the spray can is the only thing that will keep Joe alive. I really wish Phil went into more detail about these unanswered questions. The reveal at the end didn't make much sense to both Joe and Redeker's point of view of why things were happening, and I felt it was a very weak ending. Well, Dick has good writing structure, good pacing and detail, but failed to take his interesting ideas of Ubik further and craft a better novel as This had so much opportunity, but Phil sadly dropped the ball on this one. Overall, I don't recommend Ubik. It's not one of Phil's best stories. While it has many interesting ideas, it fails to take them any further or flesh out the characters along with not delivering a better ending. And that's for the review today. And yeah, I was disappointed with Ubik. I really wanted to like this book. I really liked the world was interesting, and during each chapter there's like a commercial for a Ubik product. And Ubik, I forgot to mention this earlier in my video. Ubik is Latin for everything. So as I read the book, it was like every product that Ubik makes is like literally everything. So that's kind of like a hint to the name of what Ubik stands for. But when I was reading this book, I felt this could have been so much better. I just felt like I know Phil Dick is not an action writer, but as I was reading this, I was just envisioning in my mind that if this was like an action story and it's like Joe Chip and his agents are like fighting against the Hollis Corporation, and I felt would have been really better is that they're sent back in time, and each time they go back in time, they're fighting a different variant of Hollis Corporation with the era they're set in. That would have been really interesting, and that would have been a lot better plot. And the one thing that got me was the characters have guns, right? And throughout the novel, they have to pay these stupid coin slot machines to get like coffee, get something out of the fridge, take a shower, or like go to their like to use their bedroom or bathroom. I thought this is ridiculous. Can't they just shoot these like coin slot machines off and stuff? And like, is there a law if you take the thing off or something? Like, it's never explained for that. And I kind of got the idea, what if this is like, the rival corporation Hollis doing this, but the novel doesn't state that, so you're kind of left wondering who's placing these coin slot machines, and why are they like forcing people to pay to use like everyday stuff. I thought it was ridiculous. I wish Phil explained that along with some other things with the book. And yeah, this was kind of a letdown. I read this book years ago, and I think most of the stuff, I think it just went over my head, because when I was reading it now, it's like, okay, what the hell's going on here? Like, I don't get what's going on with the story and stuff. And like, the only character I liked was Joe Chip. He was like the more interesting character, but the other characters I felt were not well fleshed out or crafted, and there was really not really much to like about them. And there's a point at where Joe finds out one of the characters was working for the rival company. He doesn't get angry or like like does something to this character. He just calmly talks to this character, and I was like, you're not gonna get mad or anything. And then when Joe confronts another character, he does in fact try to kill this character, but proves to be difficult to remove and stuff. And I was like, this Joey character didn't make much sense either. And I felt, I kind of wish like someone like Phil shared this idea with someone, hell, even me, if he shared this idea with someone that like say, this, you have some good ideas, Phil, but I think this would be better if it was like an action story. That would have been a lot better. Like, the start of Ubik is good. It gets off to a really good, interesting start, but towards the middle and ending is where the whole story begins to kind of fall apart, and it really gets boring. I was just reading page after page, just bored. I wanted the story to be done with. Luckily, though, this is not a very thick book, so I didn't have to, spend hours just going through page after page just trying to get this book done. Alright, that is it for the review today, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And now I will begin with my my new book series I've been wanting to get to. So this is gonna be a short book series, so I'm gonna get through this series as quick as I can, so I can get the series done, and then move on to my other books. Well, I'll be reading like I did with what was it, the Dune series. I know that wasn't a good series, but this one's gonna be a lot better. So I'm gonna like read the first two books, then I'll go to another, then I'll read two other books, then I'll go back to the series. But I'll make sure that I read through as much as I can, so this series does not take too long, along with the other books I have planned as well. Alright, that's it for the review today. Hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to subscribe to October Library, the YouTube channel, and the Facebook group of the same name, Placing Poetry Review Fiction. Until then, I'll catch you later.